So, I'm going to check out one of the places which I think it's fair to say Sapporo is most famous for. Probably its most notable landmark, despite the fact that it was designed by the same guy as Tokyo Tower, and it kind of shows a little bit. That being said, I always felt that this has got like a ton of character, even if it's just it having that gigantic Panasonic advertised clock on the front. Just something about it, I really like it. It's almost kind of twee, the way that it's a copy, kind of an unofficial copy of a building itself that was apparently a copy of the Eiffel Tower. And the fact that it's like the big tower of Sapporo, despite kind of like Tokyo Tower is Tokyo, not actually being the tallest tower. It kind of has a lot of charm. So this little plaza underneath the tower is actually where they usually have like a lot of events. So during the snow festival and the beer festival, there'll be things here. But this is actually kind of a nice little memory for me on its own, because the first time I ever came to Sapporo, I came here in the evening. I had no plan. I just decided to drop into the city because I was going to Obihiro, also in Hokkaido. And yeah, it just suddenly turned out to be a monsoon out of nowhere. The rain started coming down and I just sat underneath this tower, hid under here with a bit of food and had me a nice little meal and listened to the rain. Kind of a beautiful memory actually. But yeah, we're going up there now. And like everything else in Japan, it has its own cartoon character mascot, who I now realise has his own kid. How did you make that television tower, man? How did you make that? Kind of a pretty lift. My glasses have really steamed up.
Hello everyone, welcome to Sapporo TV Tower. It takes 1 minute for this elevator to reach the observation floor. Sapporo TV Tower is located at the western edge of Fodori Park. We are at the very center of Sapporo City. The height of this tower is 147.2 meters, 50 meters taller than the Statue of Liberty in New York. We are 90 meters from the ground. From here you can enjoy a panorama view of the city of Sapporo. You can see Mount Okura behind Fodori Park. You can also see Mount Okura Ski Jump Stadium, which was used in the Winter Olympic Games in 1972. We will soon arrive at the observation floor. We hope you enjoy the magnificent views.
お待たせいたしました。いってらっしゃいませね。
I mean, it's beautiful, but immediately I feel like this tower is mocking me. I noticed that you really do feel like you're in an old, very sort of almost mechanical, I guess you'd say, feeling building, all of the struts and everything coming in over the top. It is quite low in here, but I love the fact you have got a beautiful view from every single side. And this in particular, it seems like every tall tower has that area to scare the hell out of yourself. And this is theirs. It's not a glass floor, but what it is glass that goes to the floor, and then two handles that you can effectively lean against to make yourself feel like you're going to basically, oh my god. Yep, I'm not doing that.
At the bottom of the tower and cutting right through the middle of the city, you have the long Fodori Park. Now during the summer it's full of flower arrangements and picnics and live music stages. During the autumn, it's got the biggest beer festival in Japan, which all the major breweries come to. And then during the winter, you have the huge snow festival, where all different people make huge snow sculptures and ice sculptures and all kinds of things. And it's really quite unique. Like, every season, whatever season you come to Fodori Park in, is like a whole totally different and unique experience there. Then, if you walk for half an hour from the tower all the way down the park to the end, you'll find that the closest mountain to the city is Maruyama. Now, you can walk straight up Maruyama, and I did that for the first ever time with James a couple of years ago.
It's the beginning of our adventure into nature, James. How do you feel about going into nature? Look, water, river bridge, mountain, trees. James, how do you feel about nature right now? Are you stoked for nature?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nature boy.
Yeah.
So, James, how you liking nature now?
Pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
What could better represent Japan than a vending machine everywhere you go? So, in keeping with tradition, let's get a Hokkaido style coffee. Oh, it's hot, I didn't expect that. Yeah, literally whilst filming that, I suddenly realised the conundrum of the vending machine culture. In that it does mean you kind of have to take down your mask in public places unless you're just using vending machines to buy drinks for home, which you wouldn't do. Something of a contradiction there. I guess it's not really any surprise that I'm always going to love a tower that gives a panoramic view of, well, my favourite city in the world. Yeah, I'm really glad I came up here, and I'm glad I brought you guys as well. Hope you enjoyed it. I love how in the cool down area, they've got a cool down area at the bottom, they have this rather unfair size comparison. So this display shows with models all of the towers that the architect made, and they're kind of some rather fun ones here. I noticed that this one's wonky. But yeah, they go along. You have these nice, very big towers, and of course you have Sapporo Television Tower, and you're thinking, wow, that's great, and then Tokyo Tower. I still prefer that one. This is the only one with a clock. I did, however, notice that the viewing decks are not particularly different in height. So, Tokyo Tower, you've got a lot of wasted space up there. Favourite. So now that it's night time, we're going to have a little wander around the main street of Susukino, the Susukino area of Sapporo. Now, to be honest, this area is mainly famous for bars and girls and that kind of thing. However, it's worth showing if you just want to do the touristy thing, if nothing else for the fact that it's kind of like the light-up section of Sapporo. You know, every city has one of these. You know, London has Piccadilly Circus, New York has Times Square. I'm sure there's some others that I'm not thinking of. My glasses are steaming up again. However, just something about this area of Susukino kind of portrays a little bit of what I guess you'd expect from Sapporo. Let's review what some of these adverts are. Famously, whiskey, beer, definitely beer. Not really sure what that is, but it looks like it could be alcohol. Oh, well, Asahi. You know that's going to be beer. Oh, look. There's more beer. I think there's something kind of almost a bit twee and fun about how obsessed Sapporo appears to be with alcohol. Then again, it does have Japan's biggest beer festival, so can you blame them? It's part of what they are. Especially these two, I actually feel like Asahi and Sapporo are competing from across the street. So what I want to introduce you to here is what, in my opinion, is the most important street in all of Sapporo. Not as famous as Fodori Park, the one that you can see from the tower. However, this is one block of a shopping street that goes all the way through basically the main part of Sapporo. And it is, you might think, just a general normal shopping street, nothing special. This one block is kind of the old-fashioned one where everything looks a little bit more classic and old style, but as you can see the rest are a little bit more neon and modern looking, and pretty much all uniformly look like this one. So you might ask yourself, why is this special? Why is this little shopping street that cuts through the middle of the city anything more than just a line of shops? Something which dear old me wouldn't really care about because I don't have that much money. Well, it's because actually this is probably the scene of some of the most interesting experiences I've ever had in this city, especially when I lived here, which is that kind of at night time when it gets, once all the shops have closed, it used to be a bit earlier, but now it seems to be about 10 o'clock. All of these lights that you can see up above, they dim down. And then when they dim down, and all the shops are closed, performers, musicians, dancers, they all come out and they just perform at little intervals throughout here. And you can walk along, you can sit down anywhere, you can play with them, totally legal as far as I'm aware. I never got stopped and I did it many times. And in fact, event promoters will even come along if they've got like a gig venue, and they'll just say, hey you, do you want to do a gig? Pick you up off of where you're busking, take you and let you perform live. So, you know, you can make money busking here as well. People do give fairly generously. It's just generally one of the most interesting places, and I'd say really kind of the most genuine musical hotspot. I mean, we think about places like London and all these other places that have famous music areas, you know, sort of public spaces, but really for me, this is by far the most impressive one. And this, like I say, this goes on for 7 blocks. And you can see from where I've just walked how long one block is. So you get an idea for just how much there is here. And it also, for me, stands as a testament to the fact that actually Sapporo is a very, very artistic, very musical town. It's not famous for that, probably because it's so famous for other things like the winter snow sports, for the fact that it's famous for its food, you know, I mean, having, you know, the dairy products that they have in Hokkaido, the meats, you know, the fish. It's so famous for so many different types of foods. You know, and yet no one ever really thinks about it as an artistic city, and to me that's what it is. You've got a university which does teach a lot of art, you've got music shops everywhere. It's a very artistic place. And like I say, dancers as well, not just musicians, people selling paintings, all kinds of things. So for me, that's kind of what defines this city. And this street is the epicenter of that. This street is where you kind of most graphically see that. Unfortunately, of course, though, even though it's covered, it is still basically outside, which means that in the more wintry season, like now in December, even though it isn't snowing, global warming's real, you don't get so much of the outdoor performers. So unfortunately, we won't see so much of it this time, and I think the pandemic isn't helping that either. So this is the factory, which is like a shopping mall of sorts. Really kind of nice. But it's not somewhere that I usually went too much. Again, like most shopping malls, a little bit on the classy side for someone like me. But one thing I do remember, but it's called the factory because it's on the site of like the Sapporo beer factory, and the old Sapporo beer factory chimney is still out there. But this screen I always remember because it always would play the charts. And I remember watching it and always being a little bit disappointed because even in Japan, the stuff that charts is usually not the stuff that people who I think follow our channel are into. Sometimes there'll be something really good, but most of it is kind of like the boy bandy stuff. However, when you look at it, you still think, actually, you know what? It's a hell of a lot better than... Fill in the gap. You can probably imagine what sort of music I'm thinking about. Sort of stuff that charts in the West. But it's true that even in places like Japan, the music that gets to the top of the charts is often the stuff that's most commercial or the most sort of crazily marketed. But I think we can all accept that so long as it's music that actually sounds musical. So have a little listen to the charts for yourself and see. Do you think this sounds more musical than Western music? I think it does. As much as I love this place, as much as I love Sapporo beer, I have just kind of realised how much of a hipster move it is to take an old, disused factory, turn it into a shopping centre, and still unironically call it the factory. So this passageway that I'm walking through is basically like a long underground corridor that connects Susukino Station in the south with Sapporo's main station in the north and basically covers most of the city. But not only that, it connects with so many of the shops, pretty much any shop you go into the basement, it connects into this. It connects to whole supermarket, like shopping mall sections. It's just like a whole underground city of its own. And I was thinking when I was walking through here, I mean, I keep on saying, Sapporo, in my opinion, I just think it's an idyllic place. It's just those little details. And for example, this is just an underground walkway. But as you can probably notice over here, there's always like little displays and things. There's always, you can buy art. There's like little pop-up things happen down here. If you've been following my social media, you might have seen that I did like a snowboarding thing in here.
I could do that.
In conclusion, snowboarding is hard. There's just all kinds of activities and things pop up in here all the time, and even just here. This is the entrance to a car park, which is connected to here. but it's also the history of Sapporo Gallery. So you walk in just this little off shop, which is just basically going down into the car park, and you've got the history of the city. Pictures going back. So what could just be a walk to your car instead becomes a rather cultured chance to look at where this city comes from. You know, things that have happened in the past. Strange. Does it make life better? Maybe not. But does it? I think it just makes life more interesting. So I was just walking through and I suddenly came across this, and I completely forgot to even mention about this. This is Sapporo's other tower, arguably maybe even the more famous of the two. This is the clock tower. As you can see, it is rather minute. Kind of reminds me a little bit of when we talk about the Tower of London and you think, is it a tower? Isn't it wider than it is tall? Still, it's a classic bit of architecture. Really sort of demonstrates that mixture of Japanese and Western. I must confess, I don't know a huge amount about this tower, except for the fact it's famous. And I never really had to walk past it regularly. This was never my normal walking route. Although standing in front of it now, I've got to admit, there's something rather lovely about how it just kind of is a juxtaposition to everything around it. And yet, smaller, but significantly more famous than the buildings around. I think it's fair to say, as I head towards my bus, not that one, that leaving Sapporo is always kind of a difficult thing to do. I'm just thinking, when am I going to be here again? Because, well, I mean, unless I go completely bankrupt, I'll always be coming back here. So yeah, off to the bus and off to our next location it is. But this is a brief look at my most beloved city in the world. We'll be checking out some other places I really love. Yeah, I've really enjoyed coming back here again. It's been a surprising long time, like since my last visit, over a year, partly connected to all the COVID stuff. I certainly hope to come back here again soon and do more stuff here, and I hope that you enjoy all the other stuff that we've presented from here as well. Oh well, my glasses are so steamy. This is where my bags have been stored. Off we go again.